Since COVID, you've seen a spike in violent crime everywhere. I mean, it's all over the country. And of course, you know, we've had our share of that here too. And we have dealt more with mental health type issues more than we ever have. And I'm sure COVID plays a huge role. It has to with that. A lot of the things that we normally do and sending people to training and stuff like that, we had to bring a lot more stuff in-house because there's just a lot of things that aren't being offered anymore. We purchased a program called VirTra. It stands for Virtual Training. You know, you're doing shoot, no shoot type scenarios on there, and you got a few scenarios that you can train through. Well, we bought a system that's actually a 300-degree simulator that wraps all the way around you. Not quite 360, you just got that little bit of an opening where you walk through and personnel can walk through. Great program, very excited. I've been through it several times, and it gets your heart racing. It's extremely realistic. We've been given more space. You know, ultimately, we're operating out of like 6 different buildings right now, the sheriff's office is, but here pretty soon we're going to be consolidating to one, and it's the old Ryobi TTI building on 28, and so the sheriff's office will be under one roof, minus the jail, of course, because you couldn't fit the jail over there. From what I understand, of course, you know, this is going to be a county administrator, county council decision on the jail, but it looks like we're making some progress again. We've had a couple command staff members that have retired, and so it gave us an opportunity to shift some responsibilities and promote a couple of individuals. I haven't had a chief deputy in several years now, and so I have a chief deputy now, Ross Brown. Me and him are the 2 exclusive people that work on the budget. He knows exactly what I expect with the budget and how I want it run and how we want, because we're very frugal with it. Our county administrator, who I've worked very well with, Mr. Burns, he's very pro our office and has just come through time and time again for our needs. But we were able to get our deputy pay up again this year. That's something that we've been 5 for 5 for so far. So 5 pay increases in 5 years. Retention over the last 5 years has been incredible, and right now we're full on paper. Still have a couple openings in dispatch, and we may have one or about to have one in the jail. So of course, if you know people out there that want to be 911 dispatchers or detention officers at the jail, we're always looking for great candidates. So, but our enforcement side's full, and we're very thankful because there's departments all over the country, certainly, but especially in South Carolina that are screaming for help. We have Darrell Hill, which a lot of folks I know Major Darrell Hill, and now we have Major Andy Tribble, and of course those 2 oversee our 2 divisions. We have divisionally separated between operations and support, and so Major Hill's over the support, and Major Tribble's over operations. And operations would include, your uniform patrol, detectives, investigations, all your day-to-day enforcement type duties, narcotics, all that stuff. Support, you have your crime scene, jail, emergency management, all that falls under the support umbrella. With Major Andy Tribble moving up, we were able to promote Steve Reeves to captain over investigations. Now Captain David Baker over the jail, so he's taking on something completely new and fresh. But interestingly enough, when I talked to David about taking over the jail, he had to think about it, but that's how he started his career. He started his career as a detention officer with Greenville County, though. And then, of course, he's been a chief of police and emergency manager, so he's so well-rounded, and he just, honestly, he does good in everything we put him in. Josh Hawkins, very talented young man, very educated. He's going to be taking over as the emergency manager, and I think he's going to take it to a whole nother level. Captain Wayne Mills, also a newly promoted, was Lieutenant Wayne Mills. Right now he's over special operations, which training is one of those divisions that's under the special operations umbrella. Wayne is extremely creative, thinks outside the box, cutting edge type. He was a former Marine before he was here at the sheriff's office. He's developed one of the best school resource officer training programs, I think, probably in the country. But we get a lot of requests from other agencies to get some of that training for them. We need to make sure that we're planning for the future. One thing that I've noticed in years past is just like the very building that we're in right now. Was built actually in the year 2000, so it's not that old. The problem is when they built it for the force that they had in 2000, which blows my mind. Why wouldn't you plan for what you have in 2020 or 2040 even? We don't need to build this thing and then our children have to rebuild it again in 20 or 30 years. We need to make sure this thing is something that lasts, something that our grandchildren's not going to have to pay for and redo completely again. I will say this because I hear it every day. Well, the jail shouldn't be comfortable. I get it. I don't want it to be comfortable. When you go to jail, I want you to say, man, I do not want to come back to this place. This motivates me to never come back. That's the kind of atmosphere I want in the jail, but you got to remember when you're putting 10 people in a cell made for 4 to 6 people, tensions rise, there's fights, it's dangerous, but not just for the inmates, it's dangerous for my deputies that have to work in those environments because those are the guys that have to go in and break the stuff up. And those are the guys that have to, to keep law and order. It's like a whole nother little town inside that jail, and they have to keep law and order inside that facility. And it's tough when it's overcrowded. It is dangerous. We're not going to be able to get vehicles this year. We've already been told basically manufacturers are going to stop building police-type vehicles right now because, and I'll give you an example. The Ford Explorer. We have some Ford Explorers in our fleet. We may buy a Ford Explorer, the police package version, for $29,000 because it's kind of bare bones and may have power windows, but it doesn't have bells and whistles at all. But a limited Explorer may sell for $60,000. So the manufacturers obviously make more selling a limited or a special edition, whatever, luxury version of the Explorer than they do making money off of a police package Explorer. So from my understanding, the industry is trying to catch up with their civilian demand, and that's what they're going to focus on for a while, and then they'll come back and revisit the public service. So we finally got on this great rotation where it's about 20% a year, and so after 5 years you're kind of rotating through. And there's some exceptions. Some of the courthouse deputies have older cars. They're still in good shape though, but they probably do have higher mileage and stuff like that but they're just driving back and forth to the courthouse and stuff like that. But there's patrol vehicles, obviously. Those are driven hard, and they put thousands and thousands of miles on them every month. Bringing back the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, that is where all the stakeholders of criminal justice system in Anderson County get together. SLED's made some big changes over the last year, some new appointments and promotions there, and they've got a brand new forensic lab that we're excited about because we all use the SLED's forensics lab, and their DNA lab is fresh and updated, and so we actually hope to be sending some old cases through their new DNA lab. But who knows, we may be able to solve an old case or an older case, an unsolved homicide type case. I'd like to see us stay fully staffed. Seeing the way things are, across the country right now, law enforcement, there's not a lot of people standing in line wanting to be police officers these days, and I hate that. But that's what you're seeing across the country. We've been very fortunate. I think we have a great community that supports us. I think that's why. I think people will like this area, and I think that this is a great area to live. And so there's a lot of people that want to work here, and I think they like the culture that we have here at the Sheriff's Office, and just keep working as hard as we can for the citizens of Anderson County, and hope that we're making them proud and accomplishing as much as we possibly can. We have our Anderson County Sheriff's Office app, the website. We try to keep as much stuff on the website as possible. If anybody's noticed, our social media contributions have picked up a little bit, so we're trying to be out there on social media a little bit more. And we've even added a little bit of history. I'm a big history guy. I love historical stuff, especially from the historical sheriff's office. I actually have some old newspapers from the 1950s about the sheriff that was the sheriff then, and we're trying to do some Throwback Thursday stuff where you may see some people that are still working here, but what they looked like 20, 30 years ago, and when they first started their career here, or you may even see some old stuff from 50, 60, 75 years ago even. Our county council folks, again, they have come through for us time and time again, They're very willing to try to make it happen. We certainly don't get everything we ask for, but we understand that too. But they've been good to us, and especially over the last couple of years, it's been a really they've been really helpful through, especially all this stuff that we've had to deal with. So.